Welcome to How to Configure Exclusions. Defining exclusions prevents your plays from being sent to people who shouldn't receive them, like late stage deals, existing customers, investors, for example. To set up your first exclusions, navigate to the Settings panel of your Unify instance, click the Exclusions section, and the first thing you'll see is this guided walkthrough to walk you through recommended exclusions to set up when you first get started. First, it's good to exclude your company's employees from plays and sequences. To start working through this, click Setup on the right-hand side here. Let's give this exclusion a name. Here, we define this as where company domain is unifygtm.com. You'll want to put the domains that your company uses. So if you have multiple ones, you can add them here as well. On the right-hand side, this shows you a preview of what is being excluded. And so in this case, it'll be anyone with a unifygtm.com email address. Click Create Exclusion, and then we can see that exclusion here, as well as the count of people that it's picking up. Next, a good use case is excluding schools. This makes sense if you're not selling to schools. Obviously, if you're selling to schools, you don't want to exclude them, but oftentimes students will visit your website and they'll have a .edu email address. And so we actually want to exclude that. And again, on the right-hand side here, you can see a preview of all of the companies that are being excluded when you set this up. Next is excluding competitors. All you need to do is insert your competitor domain names here and press enter after each one. For example purposes, let's just put Google, Amazon, and let's do Apple. Click next. And then on the right-hand side, we can see the companies being previewed here. Now, you might not see every single one of your competitors on the right-hand side here, even though you inputted their URLs in the previous section, if they are not yet in your CRM. That's because this sources from the data in your CRM. So your CRM should be integrated with Unify for it to know this. And we did this in the last video, so if you haven't done that yet, go back to the last video and integrate your CRM. That said, if you have integrated your CRM and you still don't see your competitors here, go ahead and select no. I'm not seeing the correct matches, and we'll walk you through it in this section. So what you'll need to do is go into your CRM and make sure that the URL of your competitor's website is accurate in the record of them as a company or an account. Once that's true, we'll be able to pick it up and exclude them. If not, you'll just have to make sure it's properly updated and that you reference that same URL here as well, and just make sure those are aligned. And that's it. Once that's done, all you have to do is click Create Exclusion, and you'll be able to exclude all your competitors from getting your sequences. Next, you'll want to exclude existing customers from getting outbound emails as well. Essentially, the way you define it here needs to match how you define existing customers in your CRM. We give you 3 ways to help. So if you do it by opportunity stage, click this way, click next, and we will automatically set opportunity stage to closed won and populate the field here with your closed won customers. Additionally, you can do account type, but if it's neither of these or a custom setup, you can click other, click next, add condition, and then manually define it here the way that you define customers in your CRM. At the end of the day, you should see the list populate here to make sure that you QA it. And for customers that you don't see here that should be here, make sure you check that they are accurate in your CRM as per the definitions you define here as well. Last but not least is open ops. For similar reasons as to why you might not want to outbound an existing customer, you might also want to exclude current ops from receiving your outbound. Again, you'll want to make sure this maps to the exact same way that you've defined it in your CRM. We give you the helper method here of opportunity stage is not equal to closed lost. But if there's other ways you want to, let's just say specifically exclude ops that are in stage 3 and above, but it's okay to outbound ops in stage 2 or below. Once you've configured all the recommended exclusions, you can go ahead and always add on new exclusions as needed. To do so, click New Exclusion in the upper right-hand corner here. And in the previous examples we did, we used companies as an exclusion example, but I want to walk you through what it's like to exclude specific people and why you might want to do that. Let's say you're selling to Amazon, but Amazon has multiple business units and multiple companies under Amazon. In that case, you don't want to exclude all of Amazon from getting your emails. You just want to exclude the people or teams that you've already sold to, and then you want to keep outbounding to the other business units, right? This is a good reason for using people exclusions. Click Next. There's a number of ways you can configure this exclusion. I'll just walk you through a few options. Let's just set add condition where, and let's set it at the person field level. And let's say we've created a field on my contact called do not email, and we can say where do not email is true. We'd have to set this up at the CRM level first, and then I'd have to mark all my existing contacts as do not email. That's one way to do it. The second way you could do this is you could use the field called exists in. Let's just say if they exist in Salesforce as a contact, and let's use the person fields. Let's just say status is not equal to existing customer, for example. This is just an example of how you can define a specific subset of people to exclude. Finally, when you're adding a new exclusion, at the very bottom, we give you this option to automatically exclude and unenroll anyone that qualifies for this exclusion from any current plays and sequences. You'll want to turn this on if you want them removed from those sequences right now. So let's say you've sent out sequences and plays, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I need to remove all my existing Amazon accounts from this. Then when you set up this exclusion, just turn this on. And then when you create it, they will automatically be removed and unenrolled, and you don't have to worry about finding every single one of them and taking them out manually one by one. All right, that covers how to configure your first exclusions. Congratulations on completing this tutorial, and see you in the next video.